Hey everybody, Carlo again here. Gonna do another video for you. So, in the last one, I had attached the alligator print to the top of the flap that is going to go on the heat shield. And now I'm going to stitch it for you so you can see how the stitching is done. First thing I do is I get these that have these prongs on them, and I use them to create the holes. So as you all know, everything I do is hand stitched. I don't do sewing machines, and I go with the kind of the old world way of doing things. So every hole is made into it. All the way around. The reason why I do this is because the stitch that I use is the most secure that you can use when sewing leather. When you use a machine, the thread goes through the leather, and on the other side of the leather, it is wrapped around another piece of thread, and then it continues to wrap all the way down as you go through. But if you cut that thread and pull on it, the whole line of stitching will come undone. So far, gotta make sure this went through. This prong is smaller than the other one, so I gotta make sure that it went all the way through the pieces of leather. But as I was saying, this is the most secure way of stitching that you can do. It's called a saddle stitching, because the thread goes through each hole separately, and the thread is not being tied together at any point. So if I cut the thread here and I try to pull it, it will not come loose. You will just have that one piece, that one area that is loose. So it's time consuming, but that's how I get products that I can give a lifetime guarantee on. If ever the stitching comes loose or anything, I offer to replace it. Or not replace it, but restitch it and fix it for you. My guarantee, you send it back to me, and when you send it back to me, you got to put some cash in there for it to be sent back to you, and then I do all the work for free to redo it. Now, when choosing your thread, what I have is this is a synthetic thread, nylon, that is coated in wax. So the wax helps it go through the holes easily. When sewing together two thick pieces of leather, I use 4 times the length. So you saw me at the beginning, I kind of measured it out. That way I can get the one length, then I use 4. Little trick I learned for threading your needle. Put the needle through the thread like that. Oh, come on. It's going to be difficult now that I'm on video, of course. Yep. Oh, come on now. All right. Ooh, doesn't want to cut. There we go. No, that's too close. Okay, so stick your needle through the thread. Right there in the center of the thread. Put the thread through the eye of the needle. Pull it tight, and it creates this little knot so that when you're pulling the thread, it doesn't come loose. And I go ahead and do it to both sides. There we go, come on. All right, there we go. So, to do a saddle stitch, you're going to go through each hole twice with both needles. And bring it through. Make sure you're at the center of the thread. Now, what some people will do is they will put the needle through. This is one way to do it. I'll show you. This is not generally how I do it. Some people will put a needle through and then put a second needle through at the same time. This is not the method that I'm most practiced in. Ooh, doesn't want to go through. Okay. There we go. Put the second needle through. Oh, and of course, the thing came loose. And then they'll pull it. Oh gosh, this is a mess. So you can see why I don't do this all the time. Oh, and then my other, okay, I'm not going to do this. All right. So what I do is I pull one needle through. And what a lot of other people do, you know, they'll put both needles in at the same time and pull it through. I don't do that. What other people do is they'll do one stitch, pull it through, do the next stitch, and then change needles each and every time. So what that does is it guarantees that when you're threading it, your needle's not going through the thread, it's just going through the leather. I think that's a big waste of time. So I just grab one needle, and I just use that one needle to go through the whole thing. Oop. And right there I couldn't get my needle through, so I do that. So you do that until you get all the way around. So for the sake of time, and when you have a spot where the prong didn't go all the way through, sometimes gotta make the hole. Now I'm not going to do the whole thing. Just going to do it down to this corner, just so you can see. So you get the idea or the gist. Oh, got my string caught there. And we can get the idea or the gist of how I do this. All by hand, every stitch, everything. I do not own a sewing machine, nor do I want to, because I would rather put out this high quality stitch rather than have you guys complaining that your stuff fell apart all the time. So we'll go to there. Now we'll start on this other one. You know, pretend like I went all the way around. You know, I'm not going to do that for the... Otherwise, you guys would be here for 30 minutes watching me stitch, and I can't imagine that could be... That's very fun to watch. Generally... Oh, I hate it when I do that. Generally, when I'm stitching, I'll have some TV on in the background. I'll sit back in my comfortable chair. Stitch for hours while I'm watching something dorky like Riverdale. Oh yeah, I love the show Riverdale, and my kids make fun of me for it. I'm okay with that. I'm a sucker for any coming of age movie like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Riverdale Today, you know, the TV show. I watch a bunch of dorky things. Yes, and including Sons of Anarchy, the biker cheesy soap opera. It's a good show. It doesn't really show the real bike life, but it's a good show. It's a good drama, kind of like Walking Dead. Walking Dead doesn't show real zombies. Shows actors. Sons of Anarchy doesn't show real bikers, it shows actors. Ooh, got stuck over here. There we go. Just bump the camera there. And here's the last stitch. All right. There we go. And then voila, it's done like magic. This is the other side. But when it's done, not sure if you can see the stitching there. Get it closer to the camera. It's all double stitched. And then any threads that are left long, I burn them off. And that's the top veneer for the pouches. So this one isn't done. Probably got about another 30 minutes of stitching. And so if you're ever wondering why things take so long in my shop, this is a big reason why. Is all the stitching that happens, and everything is stitched by hand. No machines, no presses, no nothing. Everything is done by hand. Thank you for watching, and remember, here at Forge Glory, we're all about the leather, your design, and my shop all coming together to put out some great products for you. Have a good night.